If you're familiar with the Big Bang Theory, you know that Edwin Hubble, when he discovered the expanding universe, figured that out through what's something called the red shift. If you know anything about the Doppler effect with sound waves, for instance, a good example would be an ice cream truck. When it's coming up, you hear the music and it sounds all weird, and then it goes by. It sounds normal when it's near you, and then as it leaves, those sound waves are tweaked and stretched because the vehicle is moving, and so it sounds weird when it leaves, and the music's all weird. That's called the Doppler effect. Well, light waves do the same thing. If an object in outer space is moving away from us, it will have a red shift to it. It was what's called a red shift. So anyhow, they've proven that the universe is expanding. All right, so from this theory, from this understanding of the universe, they came up with the idea that, well, if you run it back and go backwards in time, then everything ends up in a finite point where everything just exploded from there and all of our universe came from that point. Okay, we know that that's probably not right because we're just beginning to delve into the question of outer space and origins of things. We are pretty much ankle deep in the ocean. We're just starting to wade in. Our knowledge of outer space is not advanced yet by any means. But this is one of the first theories that's out. It's our feeble attempt to try to grasp something that is beyond our comprehension. Now, you look at the other point of view, God. Theists say that God created everything, and that's it. There's no questions, no debate, nothing. And then when you say, well, listen, your argument just creates more questions, and those questions would be, one of them would be, is where did God come from? Because arguably, if the Big Bang was correct and that everything was a finite point that exploded, one could say, where did that finite point of matter come from? And it may well be, because I don't know and no one can disprove it, it may well be that a God or a being or a power put that there for it to explode and become our universe, for all I know. I can't rule it out because I can't disprove it. But I cannot not disprove the Easter Bunny either. But most people don't believe it's true. So if you say that a creator made everything, then you have to explain where the creator came from. And theists will always tell you that God just always was. That he had no beginning. He didn't come out of nothing. He didn't start from nothing. He just always was there. God is a constant, an eternal constant that always was there, had no beginning. So if you think about the beginning of time and you said, well, the beginning of time was 20 billion years ago, you could say, well, what happened 21 billion years ago? So it goes back farther and further and further, infinitely. So to say that there was a God that always was and had no beginning is, number one, beyond our reasoning and comprehension, and number two, it's ludicrous. It's really ludicrous. Now, science doesn't have the answers by any means either, but we are trying to grasp it. We are trying our best. We are ruling things out. We can't say how things started, but we can rule things out of how it did not start. And our quest for knowledge is what drives us. It's what makes us go to other planets and search for other life. It's what makes us put the Hubble telescope into outer space and view planets 12 billion light years across the universe. Now, just because science can't explain what started everything does not mean that there is a creator. And there is no evidence of any creators, of any religion, no gods of any religion, from any culture throughout time, throughout any history that you can think of, has ever shown itself. No God has ever shown itself, or is there any evidence of any God? All we have are stories and word of mouth. Now, science, at least, we've got the proof of the red shift. We know that all galaxies are moving away from us in all directions. So we can prove that the universe is expanding. Now, does that mean that we can draw the conclusion that the Big Bang is correct? No. It's just an idea. It's a concept. Okay? And it brings me to the idea of what's wrong with saying that we don't know. What is the matter with saying I don't know how it started, but I'm having really a lot of fun trying to figure it out. The pursuit of knowledge, the pursuit of the truth is what drives us. It's our human nature. It evokes in us a passion that is unrivaled by any religious fervor or passion. The, the, the feeling I get when I think about the universe and its complexity and immensity, it gives me an inspiration and a feeling that I've never had, even when I was religious, because I was a born again Christian as a child. So I don't speak from ignorance. Uh, that feeling that I used to get from God, that God is there for me and I trust Him, and I did ask Him to come into my heart and forgive me for my sins, but the feeling that I got from God doesn't even compare to the overwhelming sense of awe that I get when I think about the universe. So why do we have to fill all our gaps of knowledge with religion? Why do we always say, well, I don't know how it got here, so God must have made it? Why? Why do we need to say that? Why can't we just say, I don't know? I really don't know. Isn't that more humble? Don't you think it's a little egotistical to say, I know God created everything, and that's my God, and that's my religion, and that's the one that's right. All other religions are wrong, and that's it. That's the bottom line. That is a closed mind. Science is an open mind, where we say, we don't know, but here's an idea. Okay? And then another guy could come up and say, okay, well, how about this idea? And people get together and exchange ideas, and if one person can disprove another person's theory, it's welcomed. Whereas if religion is disproved, then it's swept under the rug, or religion changes its viewpoint in light of new evidence. So science welcomes progress, whereas religion stifles it. So that's the main difference. Neither science nor religion can explain the origin of everything, the universe, but at least science admits that we are feeble-minded creatures that are trying to understand everything. We are trying to understand, and that's a big concept. And we don't know. And we will probably never know. But do you know all the great discoveries we will make and have made in our pursuit, our quest for knowledge? That's what drives us. That is what's essential to the human nature of our species. That is it in a crux. That makes me more passionate about life and our universe than any religion could ever make me. For me, it cheapens the universe to say God created it, because the universe is so complex that it would take an even more complex entity to have created it. So if we can't explain our complex universe, then how can we explain something even more complex that created it? So you see, religion doesn't answer any questions. All it does is merely fill gaps, and it's nonsense, quite frankly. And it's a shame that people are force-fed it at an early age and told that this is the truth and this is the way it is and you are not to question. And that's why the pursuit of science gets stifled a lot of times. Um, so, in closing, neither religion nor science can explain it all, but at least science admits it doesn't know.